Now at 6, the bitter cold continues, but much warmer days are coming in your exclusive 10-day forecast.
Plus, were you one of the ones who decided to brave the cold weather? We caught up with a few who took the chance.
And how do first responders deal with these sub-zero temperatures? We spoke with police and fire officials about what they're doing to stay safe in our team coverage. WANE 15 News at 6 starts right now.
You're watching local coverage you can count on. This is WANE 15 News at 6.
As predicted, it is dangerously cold outside throughout the area.
We have team coverage to keep you safe. We start with WANE 15's chief meteorologist, Nicholas Ferrari, for the latest on this winter blast. Nicholas?
All right, so we have temperatures below zero across the region. Our current temperature in Fort Wayne, 6 below, but Columbia City, your actual temperature, 12 below, and it's 13 below in LaGrange and Kendallville, with our lowest number on the map, the 15 below reading we see in Angola. Factor in the winds, and it does feel much worse. Feels like close to 40 below zero in places like LaGrange and Angola. Feels like minus 25 in Fort Wayne, and feels like minus 28 in Huntington. We went below zero soon after midnight, and we've been below zero since then. We're now at 18 hours below zero, with our lowest temperature of the morning falling to 13 below. Now, no snow picked up today. The sky generally clear. Our next snow system will soon be here. We're tracking it in Futurecast using our hour-by-hour outlook. You'll see that in just a few minutes. For us here tonight, look for temperatures to stay well below zero, with those wind chills even farther below zero. It continues to be dangerously cold outside. Coming up in the 10-day forecast, yes, we're cold for now, but that huge warm-up is just days away. I have all the updates on the changes in a few minutes.
All right, looking forward to the warm-up, Nicholas. Glenbrook Square Mall has closed for the day. Officials posted it on their Facebook page and say it's to ensure guests and retailers' safety. Mall management is monitoring weather alerts and plans to reopen at regular time tomorrow morning at 10. Jefferson Point announced earlier today they would close at 5.
With temperatures hovering in the negatives, many people are choosing to stay inside.
Yeah, and many, but not all. Let's check in with WANE 15's Rachel Russell to see what she found when she ventured outside.
Yeah, Dirk and Tara, there were definitely some people out there willing to brave the cold. I talked to a few of them on this below zero day to see how they're braving the winter blast.
Driving down the road today, there were less cars than normal, and anyone who was braving the cold was bundled up. But I decided to try a place I did see people at, the Starbucks drive-thru.
I expected it to be a lot slower than we are. We're not as busy as we usually are, but yeah.
A warm drink could be a necessity on a day like today.
This is bizarre, like it's so cold outside.
But for the workers at the drive-thru window,
Just been holding like people's hot coffees all day long. It's keeping me warm, so it's okay. There you go, have a great day.
next stop, the bus station. If you need public transportation on a day like today, staying warm is top priority. Here, I met Steven, who is heading south to get out of the cold.
I'm going back to Memphis. I was out here working. I'm coming back about 3 more weeks work.
He has a 15-hour bus ride ahead of him and says he just hopes the bus is warm.
I ain't never been in this weather like this. This is bad weather. The most that I ever felt was like 15 degrees, not below with the minus, you know. This is too much.
But overall, people are thankful the buses are running today.
Less than normal, of course. A lot of places are closed. A lot of people still have to get to work that use our access service as well. So I think people are grateful that we're still operating.
We'll be continuing our coverage on the cold weather, and as always, check the WANE weather app or WANE.com for the latest. In Studio 15, Rachel Russell, WANE 15 News.
Rachel, thank you. And as these dangerous temperatures continue, Fort Wayne is delaying garbage and recycling collection for another day. The Allen County Health Department is advising everyone to avoid exposure to the extreme temps. City officials say for the safety of workers, both Red River and Republic Services will not pick up trash tomorrow. Additionally, the landfill and recycling drop-off centers will remain closed. Collection next week will run 1 day behind. The schedule for Fort Wayne residential collection the rest of this week will be as follows. Take note, Wednesday collection, that's going to be on Friday. Thursday collection, Saturday. Friday collection, that is going to be on Monday. Mail service will also be delayed another day for most of Indiana, including the entire Fort Wayne area. To see if you'll get mail tomorrow, head to our website, WANE.com.
So a lot of folks got to stay home from work or school because of today's temperatures, but that wasn't the case for many of our first responders.
Crews battled fires in the sub-freezing temperatures while police officers responded to stranded motorists. Wayne 15 Sierra Tufts joins us now and continues our winter blast coverage. Sierra?
Well, Dirk and Tara, if you went outside at all today, you know it was as cold as soon as the air hits your skin. And for our first responders, the cold was just another layer to another day on the job. At a barn fire on Wheelock Road, you can see the layer of ice build up on a firefighter's gear. A fire official tells Wayne 15 that it's actually a good thing because that means the firefighter can't get any more wet. Those crews rotated in and out of a fire truck and rehab bus to stay warm. They had meetings and emails yesterday to prepare for today's freezing temperatures. For Fort Wayne, police officers were still out patrolling as usual. They credit communication to helping them in the bitter cold. But bottom line, they're still out keeping residents safe.
Well, it's difficult for us because just like anyone else, we've got to be out in the cold. In this type of weather, it's difficult to keep your skin covered. Being outside for just a few minutes can start causing frostbite and some other things. Something unique to our profession is we carry a lot of equipment with us, so we have to be very mindful of the clothing that we wear so we can still access all of our equipment. Just like the citizens, we drive cars, and the vehicles have a difficult time in this type of weather. They're really not intended to be out when the wind chills are negative 50 degrees, so we have to be very mindful of our cars as well.
Officer Brown still recommends if you can stay home, please do it. The officers are seeing a number of drivers broken down, not because of accidents, but because cars are not meant to be out in this weather.
And so, Sierra, what do they say to do if my car breaks down?
They recommend honestly calling 911 because they can at least offer you a warm car to wait in while you wait for a tow truck.
All right. Thanks very much, Sierra.
Now be advised, if you must go outside, there are some travel restrictions that are in place. Let's take a look. All counties except DeKalb in northeast Indiana are under some sort of restriction. 9 are under a travel watch, the rest under a travel advisory. So you can plan accordingly. We have a long list of closings, travel statuses, and tips for dealing with the cold right now on our website, wayne.com. And make sure you join us tonight at 11 for the very latest on winter blast coverage.
Well, still to come on Wayne 15 News at 6. Will bubbles freeze in this weather? And what happens to a raw egg? We have the answers when your #1 News at 6 returns.
Local coverage you can count on continues with Tara Brantley and Dirk Rowley. You're watching Wayne 15 News at 6.
This kind of bitter cold that we're experiencing doesn't happen often.
So today was a good day to experiment safely about what happens to certain items in the cold. Wayne 15's Adam Solarzik joins us with what he found out. Adam?
Yes, Tara and Dirk, it was dangerously cold out today, so I went outside to safely complete some experiments so you didn't have to. Last week you may have seen some of those boiling water being thrown into the cold air videos. Well, today obviously it's much colder with those temperatures still well below zero. So we're going to see what happens whenever we take some boiling water out of this that's been in this microwave for the last 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes or so, and we're going to throw it in the air. So what happened there was that the boiling water is giving off so much water vapor that the super cold air that cannot hold much water vapor, it allows the hot boiling water to basically become ice crystals pretty much immediately as soon as it is thrown up into the air. A very cool thing to do whenever it is this cold outside. Another thing the bitter cold does is freeze the bubbles essentially on contact with the ground. This is a combination of some soap and some water, and you just give it a nice little blow. So here's one of our bubbles that we have down here. You can take a close look. You can see how it pretty much is frozen right on contact, and whenever you give a little poke to it, it deflates and basically just turns into nothing. Very cool. Another thing we're going to try is the anti-griddle. You probably recognize this from social media, or maybe you've even been to one of these ice cream parlors where they pour cream over top of a very cold skillet or griddle, and that's what we're going to try and do. We have an egg in here that we're going to try and make a fried egg, some nice tasty breakfast food for you for this morning. Let's see what happens. Take a look at that. Almost immediately the egg whites started to freeze. You can see how it's scattered throughout the pan. This pan has been out here for about an hour or two since this morning, where temperatures were down near 13 below, and you can see that it's all continuing to freeze that egg white, like I said, pretty much immediately. take a look at this. This egg is now frozen in there. It looks like it's cooked, but it's so cold that it even, oh, there we go. The yolk wasn't cooked itself. The egg white, though, frozen completely solid. This egg is probably, say, maybe over medium if you were to get it on a breakfast sandwich, but definitely don't eat anything like this because it actually isn't cooked. It's basically just frozen. And like I said, it was dangerously cold. My photographer, J.R. Carmichael, and I made sure to limit our time outside and take several breaks to warm up. If you saw the pop can on our social media, it has yet to explode, so the wait continues on that. And if you want to see other experiments, find the story on our website, wayne.com.
All right, Adam, thanks. Over freezy is how I'm ordering all my
yeah,
eggs
that's
now.
good.
That was really cool with that egg. That was neat.
I
yeah.
appreciate Adam and JR risking life and limb to do that for us. It was fun today. But yeah, it remains dangerously cold outside. Beautiful though, with all the sunshine. Our next snow system will soon be here, and then after it moves out, a lot of warm air coming. It's unbelievable. I've got your 10-day forecast after this.
Local coverage you can count on continues with Chief Meteorologist Nicholas Ferrari's live Doppler 15 Fury forecast.
Today's high temperature, 0, but that happened at midnight, and we have been below 0 since then. Now, the last time we had a high this low or lower was back 25 years ago in 1994. So this stat tells us for sure that the weather was cold back then, but those of us who remember 1994 also know one thing also. Life was cool in 1994. This is what we were enjoying back then. The top movie, The Lion King. The top book, John Grisham's The Chamber. The top song, Ace of Base's The Sign. Fun fact about me, that happened to be my first grown-up cassette that I bought, and now I've had that song in my mind the whole day. Gas, that was pretty good, $1.11 a gallon, and eggs, only 87 cents a dozen. Now, back to life today. Pretty much a ghost town out at Jefferson Point. You can just tell how cold it is looking at the ground. A lot of sunshine throughout the day, and no change to that pattern now, but overnight, mainly clear. We, of course, will be quite dark outside. Tomorrow morning, the sun comes back up, only a few clouds, another pleasant-looking day, but by nighttime, the clouds roll back in, and then we'll have snow just over 24 hours from now. Our current temperatures are these: 15 below in Angola, 13 below in Kendallville, 8 below in Huntington, 7 below in Bluffton, and 6 below in Fort Wayne. It feels so much colder. We have a wind chill value of 37 below in Angola, feels like minus 25 in Fort Wayne, minus 28 in Huntington, and minus 28 in Bluffton. Our wind chills overnight stay in this well below zero territory. We're talking about wind chills tomorrow morning, generally between minus 30 and minus 40 at worst. Then during the day, wind chills pretty much below zero all day long, although we'll get into the single digits below zero. By afternoon, evening, some spots may even see wind chills go above zero. Actual air temperatures will rise back above zero tomorrow. A lot of you happy to hear that. Things are mainly clear here on our map tonight, and that's how things will stay. We see some clouds off to the northwest, but they should stay there. Of course, our temperatures by morning will fall to about minus 14. That'll be a degree colder than it was early on this morning. Wind chill still quite low, down in the minus 30s. Winds from the southwest tonight between 10 and 20 miles per hour. Overall, the winds not as strong tonight as they were earlier on this morning, when we could have had, or we did experience, gusts up to around 40 miles per hour. During the day tomorrow, a dry day with some sunshine and some scattered clouds. Air temperatures rise in the single digits above zero by late in the afternoon, but we feel like below zero all day. Feels like minus 35 at 8 in the morning. At noon, feels like minus 20. At 4 o'clock, feels like minus 9. Winds tomorrow from the southwest at only 10 miles per hour. Then by 11 o'clock tomorrow night, the snow moving in from south to north. Snow in Fort Wayne at that point, not in areas to the north, but it does come into play as we head into the late night and overnight hours. By Friday morning, it's all out of the picture. The snow done falling around here, and we'll pick up anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of new accumulation. It's likely we'll see the lesser amounts on the scale to the north. Here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Tomorrow, our high 8, on Friday, 26. On Saturday, 39, and the temperatures keep climbing. On Sunday, we'll be up to 51. Monday, 56, some rain there. Tuesday, some rain, 42. Wednesday, another day in the 50s, but colder after that. That's your latest forecast. We have sports after this.
Local coverage you can count on continues with Glenn Marini's Sports Report. Sports coverage you can count on.
Breathe it in before your lungs start to freeze up. Folks, it is hockey weather out there in Fort Wayne, but the Comets, they're hoping to heat things up after a rough end to January. The K's hard at work on the practice ice this morning. Gary Graham's team snapping a 5-game winless streak with a 5-4 win at Wheeling on Sunday. Now, the K's can tweak a lot of things in practice this week. That's because they've only got one game on the slate. That's this coming Saturday at home against Rapid City.
I think just consistency is our thing. It's been kind of a roller coaster. We've had win streaks, go on losing streaks, and then get a couple wins again. So I think we need to put a couple games together and stay consistent. If we lose a game, that's going to happen. But how we respond, not losing 2 in a row. Good teams don't lose back-to-back nights. So that has to be our focus going down.
Yeah, we're just looking to bear down on our fundamental systems and all that, and we're really trying to focus. Lately on just battle and compete, winning our one-on-one battles, and that's been a big focus so far in the last 2 practices.
Puck drops at the Coliseum 7:30 Saturday night against Rapid City. Well, the city of Fort Wayne has basically been shut down today, but that's not the case at the Gates Center. The Mastodons will play their game this evening against South Dakota. Tip is set for 7 o'clock at Gates, and it's a big game, no doubt, for the Dons. They're 5-3 in conference, 2 games behind South Dakota State for first. John Kaufman's team snapping a 3-game losing streak last time out. They beat Denver 91-81 on Saturday at Gates. We're going to have complete coverage of the Dons tonight at 11 o'clock. As for IU, the Hoosiers looking to get off the schneid tonight. Archie Miller's team heading to Rutgers with a tip at 7 o'clock. IU goes in having lost 6 straight. Last time out, may have been the ugliest one in that 6-game stretch. It was last Friday when Michigan jumped out to a 17-zip lead in Bloomington before taking down the Hoosiers by 23. Sticking with hoops, it's Keon Brooks Jr. like you never seen him before. Coming up on Sunday after the Super Bowl right here on Wayne TV, Andy McDonald heads over to La Lumiere to sit down with the Fort Wayne native. One of the topics, Keon choosing to play his senior season away from home at a prep school rather than finishing up here at Northside.
You have to get up and have a meeting at 8:15 every day, and then you go out throughout the school day. It's a long day here at La Lumiere. Does that long day kind of make you appreciate the game of basketball a little bit more?
Absolutely, because I will get up some days and be like, why am I here? Like, I don't want to do this, but this is what I signed up for, and throughout it all, it's made me a better player and a better person, so I'm not going to complain about it. Everything is not going to be easy, and I got to learn to be uncomfortable, and I feel like being here throughout this whole time, I've been comfortable being uncomfortable.
Again, you can watch that story with Keon Sunday night after the Super Bowl only on Wayne TV. And last but not least, Concordia High School senior Alyssa Henline recently making her college choice official. Henline will play at Concordia University Chicago. Alyssa with 291 kills during her senior season. She helped the Cadettes to a 26-8 record.
Concordia has a great education program, and I want to be an elementary teacher. That was a big plus to it. I also visited campus, and I get along with the team really well and the coaches, and so I just felt it was a really good fit.
And you can see our entire interview with Alyssa on the Wayne.com sports page. That'll do it for sports. We're back in 2 minutes.
Well, with a temperature of -13 early this morning, we set a record low for the date. Now, tonight it's going to be a little bit colder. We have that low predicted of -14, but that actually likely won't set a record for tomorrow. That's because the record is -18. Now, during the day, our high temperatures will rise above 0. We'll get to 8. In fact, we'll likely get above 0 once we head past lunchtime. Some sunshine, a few clouds by late evening. Let's talk about 10 o'clock and after. Snow moves in, continues into early Friday morning. Then the rest of Friday will be snow-free, but we're going to have 1 to 3 inches of new snow on the ground. The heavier amounts likely to the south of Fort Wayne.
Mother Nature is packing it.
Yeah, really.
All right, Nicholas, thanks.
We're back tonight for Nightcast at 11.